Hey, this is cftracking.com. Just here to introduce the Coros Vertix, the beginning initial overview as I get into the details over the next couple weeks and give you a final review. Obviously, this whole website is dedicated to watches and devices that would be purposeful for CrossFit training or high intensity interval training versus all the running and biking ones that are out there. So looking at this, Coros has designed an incredible watch. I really have loved it so far out of the box. It's 47 millimeters wide, which compares to a Garmin Fenix 6. It's 15.6 millimeters thick, and if you actually take a caliper to it, it's 16.6, so they must not be counting the heart rate sensor. The average one is 76 grams. This is the icebreaker version, which is the specialty version, which is coming in at 72 grams. The screen size is 1.2 inches, so a little bit smaller than the 1.3 inches on the Fenix 6. The battery life is estimated at 45 days. So that's pretty incredible. 45 days is a long period of time. It's obviously just having your heart rate checked every 10 minutes. I always turn it on to always on. But we'll track and see how long the battery actually lasts over the period of time of using it periodically throughout the day. It's water resistant to 150 meters, which is more than all the others. And it's got temperature ranges that are far broader than any of the watches I've tested. Now, I'm not going to put it to the test, but it's definitely a great expedition watch. It has a titanium bezel and actually has a titanium back. So unlike the other ones that have sort of a composite or a stainless steel back, this has got titanium on both sides, sapphire glass, as well as on the little heart rate sensors, they put sapphire glass over the heart rate sensor as well, which is great. It's a 22 millimeter quick fit, and it retails for $6.99. The brightness on it's a little bit lower. It's rated at 22.7, or I've tracked it at 22.7 lumens, which is at the low end of the spectrum. It's below even like a Garmin 245 just by a hair. So I'll let you know how the brightness feels on the regular use. So we're going to go into a hands-on video just to give you kind of an overview, show you how it compares size-wise to the Suunto Baro 9 and the Garmin Fenix 6S, which is the smaller of the 6 series. The screen resolution is 240 by 240, but overall so far I absolutely love the look of the casing. I love the feel of it. They've designed an incredible watch. Let's get into the hands-on. If you like this, please like. I'm trying to build my subscriber base, so please subscribe if you have an interest in more. I'm going to do continual reviews on this. And one thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to track the load, because as I tracked or did a review for the Coros Apex Pro, the load tracking and fitness scores were coming up a little bit off. So I'm going to do more of an in-depth load evaluation as it compares to Polar's load tracking system and Garmin's load tracking system, as well as all the other ins and outs of it. So let's get into the hands-on now. Thanks for watching. Before I get into a direct hands-on video of the watch itself, let's look at it sort of side by side. So on the left here, you have the Suunto Baro 9, which is a 50 to 51 millimeter thickness. You have the Coros Vertix, obviously, and you have the Garmin Fenix 6. If you were to sandwich them in the middle, just to see the thickness and as it sort of compares difference-wise, the thickness is about the same as the Fenix 6, so it feels about the same. It's a very comfortable fit. Obviously, you can see that the Baro 9 on the bottom is much larger, and then looking at all of them on the back, you can see the different types of heart rate sensors. They all have their own perks and benefits and features there, but when you look at the overall watch and feel compared to some of the other primary offerings, you know, these are sort of the top of the line with each of the different manufacturers. I do love the look and feel of the Vertix. The Garmin gives you much more customization. You can add a million different watch faces. You can change the data screens, whereas you can't change the data screens as much here. You don't get as much flexibility with what data you see, and even the watch faces available, and even less watch faces available on the Suunto. I'm going to go into a full review when I do the final review for the Vertix as to compare some of the feature benefits and differences from the Baro 9 and the Fenix 6 series. But for now, that's just a sort of a side-by-side comparison with some of the other top offerings that are on the market. Okay, so looking at the device, obviously it's 47 millimeters wide. This is the Icebreaker edition, so it's got the blue accent colors and it's got a clear sort of quasi-translucent casing, which is fantastic. I really like, I guess, just using so many black watches, this is really a nice touch. On the back, you have the heart rate sensors as well as an SpO2 oxygen level tester there. And titanium casing around the back. It's got the 22 millimeter quick fit, and it's got a really great rotating crown, which is what you do to open the watch to see all of the different aspects. So when you get to the main home screen, you have just the basics there. It goes into a summary of the day, and we'll look at a workout in a second. Then you have your heart rate tracking over a period of time, your elevation tracking, your barometric pressure tracking, the temperature tracking, and then just an overview of the day when it comes to sunrise, sunset, dawn, and dusk. And when you get into the basic, you push the button once to get into the tracking system. The AI trainer is where it'll give you an evaluation of how hard you worked out. 1.4 days till full recovery. I just did a run and then followed by more of a prolonged Metcon. It gave him knocked my stamina down just a bit. So this is where you'd see your workout log. So let's go into today. This is just a CrossFit workout. I'm tracking it to a chest strap because the Coros Apex, I did the test for the optical heart rate sensor, and it came in about 80% accurate for the most part, but not 100% accurate. So you always want to use a chest strap. It'll give you obviously the workout time and details, but unfortunately, after you closed out the workout, you don't get your details when it comes to your effort scores. So your training effect, training impact. So it gives you the training effect when it comes to aerobic and anaerobic, as well as the recovery time built into the workout summary, but that's not here. But again, show you just how much I depleted, 42% because I was at 100 because I haven't been using the watch in full because I'm finishing out a sleep study which compares 4 different watches right now. So I'm not using this in full, just tracking workouts, 1.4 days till recovery. But this is also where you see your system settings, and then you can go into any of your basic workout profiles. So one of the things I'm gonna test in greater detail is the strength setting, when you can track workouts to determine what body parts are affected. So I built sort of a simple workout that you can just set up the overall time, 18 sets for 18 rounds, or 18 reps for 18 rounds, lunge, squats, Russian twist. I'm gonna track to see this because we can get a heat map of how much we're working different body parts if we load in the workout of the day into the training log, build it, and then do it. But one of the things I'm gonna see is how hard or how effective is that for CrossFit training. So that's gonna be an in-depth part of this long-term review. When you go into system settings, you get all the basic settings you could possibly need. We're not gonna get into the details of that because you can read about most of those things online. And then if you hold down the bottom button, you get into the quick launch menu, which has all the basic functions. You can basically preload 5 different watch faces on the watch, but there's like 25 to choose from that you can just, load one of 5 or into the watch just to quickly change in between them. Go back into that. You have your basic alarm, stopwatch. Within the alarms, you can add multiple alarms, which I like a lot because I like to have multiple alarms set for things. Basic stopwatch, like we said. The mapping is sort of basic Navi settings. This is where you set your battery to be able to make it go ultra long. We're not going to really look at that too much in depth because this is CrossFit review. This is your pulse oximeter to tell you how much blood oxygen you have, and a few of the other basic settings. So it obviously is very much an expedition watch, but it does have all the primary components for CrossFit tracking. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the app at the end of this video just to give you sort of a bird's eye view. The brightness is coming in good. It does have a wrist raise backlight, so the backlight does turn on in full with the wrist raise, which is great relative to the dimmed version on the Polar or a non-existent one on the Suunto that you don't have a wrist raise gesture backlight option. But all in all, the design, you get haptic feedback every time you move through a different page, which is great. I do think that they probably need to change some of the primary content pieces because one of the main pieces I wouldn't want to just automatically reference is just, barometric elevation and pressure. But either way, this begins, a multi-week review of the Coros Vertix. Let's look at the app really quickly, and thanks so much for watching. Okay, so this is the main landing page, which you'd get at the beginning of a day. I'm just looking at yesterday because I have been using this watch less frequently as I'm finishing up the sleep study with 4 watches. So you get at the top, you get your active calories versus the goal, and then you get these 5 primary fields: active energy, exercise time, steps, heart rate, and sleep. You can click into any one of those and you get sort of a sideways chart, which will turn the phone sideways, which I'm not going to do for this simple overview. And then you get your snapshot of workouts for the day. So let's take a look at what the workout statistics looks like from workout yesterday, which was an EMOM every 2 minutes actually on the minute of lifting, and then a Metcon at the end. I'd gotten out of range, so you can see it dropped off on the heart rate, but you can click into this heart rate chart and get a full snapshot. You have your heart rate zones, and then you have your training effect, which is similar to Garmin's training effect and actually similar to Suunto's. You get the aerobic and the anaerobic scores, and then your total time. So a good summary of information. I like how it's laid out, and I like the colors for it. So this was yesterday, but on your Today tab, you'll always see your 3 primary training aspects: your training load, your fitness index, and your fitness level. On the training load, you can see it jumped up because I did a workout. I'm going to actually compare the training load versus the Polar ecosystem and the Garmin ecosystem to see how Coros is developing the training load tracking. Did not have as great of an experience with the Coros Apex Pro, so we'll see. And then on the middle here, you have the fitness index, which is resting heart rate, useful information. You have the VO2 max, which is coming in a little bit lower than Garmin, and this fitness level is coming in incredibly low. They say basically below 30 for a male is not in great shape, which I don't feel like I'm not in great shape. And so we'll continue to see if that evolves or develops over time. But this is the main screen that you get. And then you look at the bottom of the app and you'll see the primary tabs. So the next tab over is your workout log. You can go into that, and even in the top right corner, you can hit statistics for how your training is going with different areas of focus. Then you click onto the Shield tab, and you can see, your training, your records, basic summary for your profile. I'm going to click in this middle box here on the muscle heat map. If I can get the training on the strength portion to work correctly, you can see that you're developing muscle groups over time, over the last month, 3 months, and 6 months. So hopefully that'll become something that's useful. The last tab over is the watch with customizations. You can go into workout data. You can go into one of your workouts, you can click on that, and you can change any one of the fields. You can change up at the top. You can change whether it's a 6 data, 4 data, 3 data, 2 data. So really helpful customization there. On the customization, you can change the order the workouts appear through the workout menu customization. And then on the My Training, here's where you could build your workout programs. And I can't get it. I wanted to do an 18-minute EMOM for these 3 movements: lunge down, squats, and Russian twist. I couldn't get it just to replicate those 3 movements without manually replicating each one of them. So didn't turn out to be very effective there, but we'll see how the strength training program works over time. And then the watch face, so you can change your watch face. You can take any of these and upload them as the top 5 to quick jump into. So going back again, this is sort of how the page will look at any one time. And at the bottom of every day's page, you'll have your fitness information. So we'll continue to track this. Thanks so much for watching. cftracking.com.